And we have Aruna Jayanti now joining us, who's the CEO of Capgemini. Thank you so much. You were the third, right, in Fortune India's list of the most powerful women in business. But I think the interesting thing is that in a country like India, the number of powerful women there are in business. Look at the banks. I was doing the budget, and then they just set up the bank for women.
Yeah.
And I had a panel of the CEOs of all banks, and I suddenly looked up at my screen. All of them are women. So
because we know how to handle finances and money really well. Not me, but most women do.
I would agree with that.
Fine.
Right?
So
Absolutely.
we will appoint you to look at
And
our
we're
account.
smarter. No,
Okay,
I will
let's-
empty your accounts. Don't ever give me.
Yeah, so I was just about to, seeing as you're offering. All right, so just share this with us. The glass ceiling in India for women to rise to the top, is it in some ways less than it is in other countries like America? Or is it equally bad?
I'd say it depends on the industry. Okay, I think you've talked about banking, which is a very level playing field. It's an easy one compared to, let's say, an industry like manufacturing. Okay, the one that I work in is information technology. Again, very, very level playing field. In both these services oriented, what matters really is one's capabilities, skills, intellect. So these are knowledge driven companies. So it's much easier.
So you're saying where intellect counts, to take Priyanka's point forward, that's why women come in, right?
Absolutely. But ma'am, I wanted to ask you, there are a lot of corporates, and I don't understand the corporate structure as much, but basic mindset of men across the nation sometimes is कि अच्छा अभी औरत की बात सुननी पड़ेगी, मैडम जी की बात सुननी पड़ेगी. ऐसा हुआ है? Have you ever felt that on your way to becoming the most powerful businesswoman in the country?
I have never felt that.
Really?
Never.
Wow.
And therefore I had some difficulty in the initial years to even understand what this glass ceiling meant, because in my view it doesn't exist in some, at least in some industries. I don't want to say everywhere. In the industry that I work in, I believe it doesn't exist, and if somebody thinks it does, I always tell them it must be in your mind. Okay, first start thinking differently, and then people around you will start looking at you differently. So I think it's also a big question of mindset as well, both for men and women.
So you feel as a woman you can take charge and say, I want to strive and be the best that I can be, and no one can stop me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, that is so inspiring.
But having said that, I do think that, that's a very easy view. I do think that there are challenges even in corporates, even in the industries that we are talking about. And there needs to be a concerted effort by corporates to make some small changes to, to really make it a level playing field.
What do you think corporates can do to, provide more opportunities for women, or do you think there aren't enough opportunities provided for women in the business sector, or is there?
I'll give you an example. Okay, I do think there are opportunities, but sometimes it's many women drop out of the service. If I look at our own organization, the issue is that at the entry level, perhaps 33-40% are women, because that represents the number
Correct.
of graduates in the, let's say, engineering colleges or science colleges. But when you get to the top, it's perhaps less than 8-10% are women. So somewhere along the way, many women are dropping out of the workforce, and that's primarily driven by, the childbearing years, and then they want to go back home and then have spend time with their children. I think a few things can be done. First of all is we can encourage women to come back to work. Okay, take a sabbatical, take 1-2 years off. It's nothing. If you look at a career of 30 years, what's a 2-year sabbatical? Take that and then come back to work.
So is that a problem though? I mean, like increasingly do companies allow that it's fine that women are taking off to have a baby to come back later? Or is it again industry specific?
I think it's difficult for women to come back, both from from a personal side, from the family side, as well as from the corporate side, and that's where really corporates need to make an effort to think that, look, I do need that talent. She's precious, she's knowledgeable, she's done work for me before.
Just
I
because
would
she's
welcome
having
her
a
back.
baby?
Exactly, and I would welcome her back. And in some, especially in my industry, IT industry, the technology moves so fast. It's very easy to become outdated in 6 months or in a year's time. So I think companies need to make a special effort to retrain the women so that they're welcome back into the organization.
Wow. Well. Before we, ask you to make an appeal to all the corporates out there to say, donate to us, because today that's what we're doing. We're trying to make as much of a difference as we can. 12,000 rupees can educate a girl for a year. So please pick up your phones, give us calls, and donate as much as you can. And when it comes to you, ma'am, you've been such a role model to so many women. I think seeing women like you come out there becoming the best that they can be, and the fact that they need to pick up and find the strength in their own feet to turn around and say, I can make a change in my life, and have families that support us. That's also really important. But this is very upsetting, this whole, a woman just because she's having a child, you know.
But that tends to
That's
happen.
normal.
But do you think corporates, what other roles do you think corporates, to take Priyanka's question forward, what other stuff can corporates do? I mean, look, for example, we are seeing it happening. This whole thing is happening
But it's a
because
big
Vedanta
change,
came
she's right.
forward and said, can you do something for girls? And that's how this entire telethon is taking place, because a company like Vedanta came forward and said that. What else can companies do?
I saw the themes that you're focusing on through this one, and education is a big one. I think corporates can do a lot in terms of helping the education. I mean, we educate over 10,000 girls, and in fact, our corporate motto is the girl child, and we have taken the Nanni Kali as our, key theme that we will sponsor. But having said that, I think we should do more in terms of moving from education to employability, and that's where corporates can really help. Because I believe that you can educate a girl child, but after 16 or 17 years, if she goes back into the same social system and is unable to stand up on her own feet, there's an issue. So I think the whole theme of education needs to be moved forward into employability, and that's where corporates can do a lot in terms of taking that forward,
Provide opportunities of
provide
employment.
opportunities, and help women, help the young girls become independent.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for sharing your experience. And I guess the more examples like yours are out there, mindsets will start to change. Thank you so much.
Vikram, and I'd like to join Priyanka in saying that, requesting all our people and also all the other corporates to donate liberally to this campaign. I wish you all success, Priyanka.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.